Hello, how are you guys? Happy Monday. Hope you guys all had a really good Christmas, a good restful weekend. I know this is kind of like back to school for a lot of people. We started last week because my husband went back to work, so it was like, we might as well. I have been trying to get outside more. I know it is so good for me. You guys, I'm in a season where I get like basically no sleep. Like, yes, I do. Like it's like 2 to 3 hours a night though. It is nothing. And I track my sleep, and so when I look at my sleep stats and I've had like an hour and 19 minutes of deep sleep the last few nights, it is just not enough. And so I can't change that a lot because I'm not really willing to do cry it out with this guy. And he just wants to sleep being held, and then I can't sleep restful. So what I'm doing is just making sure that the hours that I am awake, that I'm being really intentional with what I do with my time. So no more doom scrolling for me, just lots more movement, fresh air, watching what I eat. So I took a little bit of a Facebook break at the end of December. I did have to reactivate one night just to turn back on my monetizing on my page. Should have done that before. But it has been really nice. I guess I was kind of like, is anybody going to notice I'm not on Facebook? And after the first 2 days, I was like, I don't care if anybody notices. I definitely, like, there's a big value in online and social media and that kind of stuff for business, but even just for friendships, right? Like, for us as women, I mean, men too, just to feel connected to people. But I realized that so many of the connections that I had made were based on, like, prior collaborations with people, people that I sort of kind of knew, and they were still, I'm dropping stuff all over, they were still very meaningful connections, but also, like, I followed over 700 pages and I was in over 400 groups on Facebook, and that was just not being super productive with my time, right? So until I can learn some better boundaries with social media, I've got no business being on Facebook, and so that is just where I've been. I was actually really surprised that like over a dozen people were like, did I do something to offend you? Is everything okay? Hey, I can't find you on Facebook. Thank you. That was really nice. But I started thinking about like our influence, like, yeah. And the place I want to have the biggest influence, obviously, is right here at home. And so I can't do that when I've got a screen in front of my face all the time. No, yeah. Look at that. Look at that body language. That was like on cue. Way to go, buddy. Also, we have invested a very big chunk of money into my continuing education in the world of social media marketing. That's been certified in. And so I'm spending more time working on my classes and that kind of stuff, as I should be. Although I would rather be scrolling Facebook and I'd rather see what all you guys are up to and know a little bit more about your lives. But that's okay. I don't have to do that. That is just fine. When you think about social media, and I look at some of my stats, right, and I'm like, 13,000 people watched a YouTube video or two of mine in the last 28 days. I'm like, where else in the world could I stand somewhere and have 13,000 people listen to me ramble about whatever I ramble about? Like, you guys, I'm like, well, that's really powerful. We've got a powerful influence. So I need to be really careful of what I do and say here because that impacts people, and mostly because it impacts my little people. All right, so let's talk about this soup. We had Christmas with Chad's side, Mr. Awesome. What do you guys want me to call him? Like, I've called him Mr. Awesome for like 15 years on the blog, and then I'm like, I don't call him that in person hardly ever. Unless I'm like, all right, Mr. Awesome, are we doing this? Like, kind of sarcastic. Anyway, we had Chad's side of the family over for Christmas, and so we had leftover carrots and celery and onions because we did a taco bar and had a veggie tray. So I am just dicing that up into soup because I am weird. Like, if we have all had our hands in it, I'm going to probably boil it before I eat most of it. And then I'll put some broth over that and some canned chicken. And we'll just make a little soup tonight. Chad did ask me to make a loaf of bread, and so I did do that today as well. And now I need to get to clearing the counter, because that is just one of my hard and fast rules, is I have the counter cleared before he gets home. Like, he deals with enough at work, he doesn't need to come home and deal with my mess here too.